how we beat our meat. What's up, YouTube? My name is Marcus. Thank you for joining me on my channel, Cooking with Marcus. Today we have a very special treat. We have my Oktoberfest JagerSchnitzel with a Florida twist. Oh boy. So we're going to start out with our gravy. So what we're going to do, we're going to melt some butter. We're going to get that in there. Nice, good amount. And then we're going to add sliced bacon. It's about 4 slices of bacon. Oh no! And onions. And then we're going to let these simmer till they get a good amount of color on them. Okay guys, so now as you can see, we've got a little color on our bacon. We've got our onions, which are a little bit translucent. So now we're going to throw in our mushrooms. And we're going to do a little round of seasoning. Now with this, I recommend just the slightest touch of salt, because you already have so much salt in the bacon. Little dab of paprika. A couple grinds of pepper. And thyme. Thyme is not called for in the traditional German recipes, but if you have mushrooms, you gotta add your thyme. And for the final ingredient, we're going to add a touch of red cooking wine. Now, we're going to stir this up. And once again, let those mushrooms simmer. For about, until they're nice and shriveled up. Maybe about 20 minutes. Alright YouTube, so now I'm going to reveal the Florida twist on this dish. Normally it's made with mashed potatoes or spatzel or french fries, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using yuca root, which is actually found in the Caribbean, but I discovered it in Miami, where it is very highly used in Cuban cuisine. So we're just going to come in. I have it boiled off already, and it's very similar to mashed potatoes. Oh, but this masher sucks. But basically, we're pretty much, we're doing exactly what we would do for mashed. We're going to throw in butter. We'll start with about half a cup of milk, maybe a tablespoon of garlic, dash of salt, dash of pepper, and I also cooked this in some stock that I made from home. It was beef stock and chicken stock, so we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, you basically just want to treat this almost exactly the same as mashed potatoes. The only thing you have to watch out for is in the root there's a fiber that goes through it that when you eat it, well, you can't really eat it. It's just very stringy and not very tasty. But otherwise, you can treat this pretty much exactly as you would mashed potatoes. And then, you know, enjoy, because it's got a really nice, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's got a heartier flavor than mashed potatoes. It got a nice, it got a good taste on the bottom. So, all right, we got our yuca mash. Next up, we'll go ahead and finish the gravy. All right, guys. So now we're going to finish up our mushroom gravy. As you can see, we got some nice color on everything. Everything's reduced down. So we're going to add a little guy of heavy cream. A couple dashes of sour cream. Stir it up a bit. And we'll come back to check on it in about 10 to 20 minutes. Alright guys, so here we are with the star of the show, the actual pork loin chops. Now, generally, when I serve this in a restaurant, you could get an entire pork loin for about $12, which means the food cost on this is absolutely beautiful. We would buy that pork loin for about $12 and get about 20 servings out of it, and we would sell this dish for $17, $18. So 17 times 20 is math. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to handle your meat. Insert obligatory beating your meat joke. But here we go. All right. Woo. So that's the thing with this. Like, you can look at how thin these slices are, but when you pound them out, they look absolutely gigantic on the customer's plate, and that is what provides value in their mind. Now, you want to go hard, but you don't want to go too hard. But you want to make sure everything's nice and even. And then we're going to flip it to the next side. Okay, so this is a very thin cut from the grocery store, but if you're doing it yourself, you can do it a little bit thicker. Well, I mean, still, look at it before and after. That pretty much just about doubles the size of it. And if you have a little thicker cut of meat, you know, it goes even further. And the cost is literally pennies to the dollar. So, that's how we beat our meat. Alright, so now guys, we've got our meat beaten, and we're going to get it nice and prepped. We're going to start with the old flour. nice and covered. Next we're going in regular plain breadcrumbs. When I did this in the restaurant, I would use panko just because it appears more, I don't know, it just has a bigger appearance, I guess. But regular breadcrumbs is absolutely fine. So we got flour, egg wash, breadcrumbs. And now we're good to go. On to the next step. Here we go, guys. Now is the final step. We're just going to fry up our schnitzel. You want to make sure your oil is at 350 degrees. Obviously, in a restaurant, it's much easier because you have your thermostat set on the fryer to 350. So at home, you just want to be careful. Make sure you understand your oven, and if you need a thermometer, just double check the oil because you don't want this burning up the second it goes in. So let's cook it up. Alright, so that's pretty good. We basically just need to cook this for a minute or two. You want to get a nice golden brown color. And that'll be that. And then when we're done cooking, we're going to make sure we have a plate with a paper towel so that we can absorb the extra oil. Alright guys, so here we have our final plating and our final tasting. So as you can see, we have our schnitzel, nice golden brown, covered with the Jaeger gravy. We got a little red cabbage on the side, and our mashed yuca root, little yuca chips on top for decoration. And of course, this wouldn't be an old dish without parsley on the top. So let's dive in and give it a nice little taste. Let's see how we did today. Well, of course the schnitzel turned out absolutely wonderful. With that combination of mushrooms, thyme, salt, pepper, paprika. Absolutely wonderful. Now let's try yuca. This is with multiple stalks. Yeah, I mean, you can't just beat that. As Americans, we grew up obviously on mashed potatoes and in Europe. But do not sleep on this yuca root mash. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going in for one more bite. Let's get it. Again, absolutely wonderful. Again, with the schnitzel, you can do multiple types of breading. You can do your regular breadcrumbs, you can do your Italian breadcrumbs, you can do your panko. You can make your own at home. So, either way, let's throw in some of this red cabbage. Absolutely perfect. This is a perfect Oktoberfest meal for a little Florida twist. So, once again, thank you for joining me. My name is Marcus. This is my channel, Cooking with Marcus. I appreciate you guys. If you've ever tried this or have your own variation, please leave a comment down below. Also, once again, we have to remember, it is absolutely necesito that we remember that I'm just doing this for the tip.